All right. That says mute microphone. Yeah, no, then should have that correct. Welcome back, everybody. International Sports Car Cup here on GT7. Last time out, we were at Suzuka. If you have not seen that yet, I recommend going and giving it a watch. If you don't want me to spoil the results of it for you, since I'm going to mention them now. So, same thing goes for Suzuka Race 1. Suzuka Race 1, you can see just there in the back, the BMW M3 CSL was triumphant, managed to get an incredible victory, worked its way through plenty of cars. Suzuka, which was the last race, race number 2, went to the NSX-R, starting just in front of said M3 CSL. You know, everybody's had a shot to work on their cars, get them in tip-top shape. And we're ready here to go at it again. Put these AI up against each other. And without further ado, here we go. Impreza takes off into turn 1, gets a great launch. Absolutely no contest into turn 1 here. That C5 got a really bad starting spot on the grid. As we come through here, looks like we've had no position changes quite yet, but the NSX looking very racy back there. Almost went for a move on the 911. This track could be better for cars like the Viper and the Corvette, as we do have a very long back straight. However, it is a very technical circuit with hundreds of corners. As the M3 CSL getting a little sideways there. The C5 Z06 Corvette has never been incredibly good off the start. Usually doesn't show his true pace until later in the race. Since we're at the Nurburgring today, it's only going to be a 2-lap event. As we're heading down, exited Flugplatz, coming into a fast left-hander. The R34 down the inside makes the move early to take a lead, taking advantage of his extra power, but here comes the Impreza. Side by side, making contact through the corner to take command of the race as they head back down now to Foxhole. R34 went from leading to under attack from the RX-7 for second place. While in the background, we have a huge battle going on here through Foxhole. Looks like the NSX and the Viper are going to make their way around the Evo. He's been struggling consistently throughout the whole of this series. Nothing they seem to be able to do to that car is working. He's fending off the Viper for the time being. NSX has made its way through. Viper now with a small straight is able to make its way through. M3 CSL is going to have to line up a move on the inside and make a send here, and he does just that. Didn't even look like there was too much effort involved in that pass. Pretty much everybody has cleared the Evo now. Only the Corvette has to make his way around him. With the way that the continuation works and how long the race goes on after my lead pace car crosses the line, that Evo might not finish if he's that slow. However, the Impreza, who has fought to maintain his lead, is still leading. The 911 GT3 fancies a go at the RX-7. There he is now. Looks down the inside. Now around the outside. And it's going to work out for him. He manages to muscle his way around the 911 in its natural habitat here in Germany. Now the C5 Z06 really having a hard time with it. Let's see what's going on with him. Couldn't tell you. Just something with that car not being all that competitive. NSX now looking to size up the RX-7. getting on the curb. Getting really antsy. The two 2,800-pound Japanese sports cars going at it. As the 911 GT3 now has its sights set on the R34. Oh, the Viper has made his way around the NSX. A little salty about the last outing where he wasn't able to get around him for a win at Suzuka. Wasn't messing around this time out. He's got the 8-liter V10. And it's really on his side of the shot. And the 911 has spun! Oh no! Let's get a look back at that. He's doing so good here, and then here we are coming up to Bravery. It looks like he was going down the inside of the R34, clips the curb, gets in the air, and loses it. Oh, and there was contact between him and the Viper as well. That's an absolute heartbreaking change of pace and turn of events for the 911. Now it's just up to the BMW M3 CSL to uphold Germany's reputation around its most famous racetrack. However, maybe the Evo won't finish last. That 911, it's very unlikely he can pull a spin and win here, so depressing. You know, it's just never great to see something like that happen as we miss an overtake from the R34. Here he is, down the inside on the run down to the carousel. Gets through before the carousel as the Viper forces the RX-7 dang near off the carousel to make a move. NSX will now set his sights on the RX-7. RX-7 has always been good at the starts, but can't seem to keep it going. The 911 GT3 is first going to try and see if it can manage to get back around the Corvette. The R34 doing great around a track which it holds its namesake. This specific R34 GT-R is the V-Spec 2 Nurburgring, so it makes sense that it would be good around this track. You wouldn't name a car after a certain track if it wasn't any good around that track. So we see the lead pack, 1st through 6th, 7, 8, and 9, pretty far behind, as we see the 911 GT3 now looking to potentially get back around the C5. The Impreza has lost the lead, incredible in the corners, but he couldn't quite hold off the R34 in the straights, and now he has a hungry Viper behind him who's going to be on the attack. This WRX has been one of the more impressive cars in this series. I would have expected to be down somewhere near the dumps with the Evo, but it has absolutely not allowed anything of the sorts to happen. As I've just noticed, all 4 blue cars make up the top 4. Blue must mean fast. RX-7 still hanging on. He has been passed by the M3. C5, Evo is caught up to the Evo, a 911 on his ass, and apparently that's the motivation he needed. R34 has a healthy gap over the Impreza, but now the Viper has a chance to attack. Here he is, he's going to pull alongside the Impreza for a free overtake effectively. Corvette should be able to get around the Evo on the straight as well. Oh, look at that. The 911 and the Corvette are going to split him. Look at this pack of cars. M3 breaks the chain. And so does the RX-7 for the blue cars in the top 4. Hey, here we are. Coming through the final corner section, the Viper was able to get around the R34. He has an incredible deal of straight line speed. 911 has made his way around both the Evo and the Corvette now. Here comes the Viper. Down into one. Currently tied for the lead of the championship, unsurprisingly. It is the most powerful car in the series, considerably so. Some may argue it's a supercar, but Dodge never officially referred to it as a supercar. It's technically a sports car. Technically is a loose term, though. C5, not having a good time. One could say it's due to a lack of aero parts, but obviously that's, you know, not a problem for the Viper. As into Flugplatz. Out of Flugplatz they come. Viper establishing a lead. NSX on the coattails of the R34. I think the NSX is quicker than the R34 around here. If he could just manage to get around, he might be able to catch up to the Viper through the corners and potentially mount an attack. However, ooh, that's not going so well for him, but he is trying. You can't say he isn't giving it a shot, but here we go now. He keeps looking for a lane. Here they are, up to Foxhole. M3CSL says, you're waiting too long, my friend. I'm going to take that position away from you as the M3CSL gets itself onto the podium. M3CSL is now going to try and get the R34. The NSX was struggling to get around him. The M3CSL seems to be a little quicker on the straights than the NSX here. So maybe he'll have a better chance at sending it down the inside on one of these corners if he gets a good enough run. But the Viper is running away. The longer this R34 stays in second, the better the Viper's chances of winning this race get. He's faster than the R34 through the corners. That Viper is an astonishing car, and a lot of people sleep on its cornering abilities. Sure, maybe the R34 is a teeny bit faster, but I mean, it didn't seem to be making much of a difference because that Viper has so much speed in the straights. It's got a 6-speed manual transmission, but it's only using 5 of its gears. If its 6th gear is just an airplane gear, fuel safe. And now we are watching as the R34 actually closes in on the Viper through this section. Actually getting pretty close to him, I won't lie. But we're on to the isn't straight section here shortly. They've got one more sharp right-hander before they enter it. Oh, the M3CSL powered his way around the NSX, but he doesn't seem like he's been in much of a hurry to get around this R34. Does he have the legs down the isn't straight? Or will he potentially end up giving that position back to the NSX, as it was a lack of ability to overtake the R34 that allowed the M3 to go for it on the NSX in the first place, and the NSX is no slouch in a straight line, as here he is pulling alongside the M3. He said, I know you wanted to make an attack, but you've waited too long. What goes around comes around, but the M3 says, no thank you. I'm going to defend my spot. I think I've earned it. And I think the Viper is going to earn a win around here, because even if the R34 is slower than both the NSX and M3, no one can get around him. And the Impreza has now been caught by the 911 GT3 and C5 Corvette. This is what I mean by the C5 Corvette just gets a slow start in these races. It's not doing a terrible job of keeping up with that 911. And the Evo is, wow, that is depressing. These guys are already out of the carousel, and he's just bumbling about. All right. German fans would be rooting for this M3CSL to get a move on it, because the R34 GT-R has just been a mobile chicane. However, that might honestly be a little offensive because he's still right up the Viper's rear end. Maybe the R34 goes wide. This is the moment the M3 CSL has been waiting for. He's up into second. Can the NSX capitalize on the R34's mistake as well? He's trying to go around the outside, but he gets pushed wide. The M3 CSL now gets to fight the Viper for the win at the Nurburgring. Can he claim the win in his home territory? R34 gonna be just kicking himself for a mistake like that one. RX-7 under threat from the 911 GT3 potentially. Corvette now just gonna try and find his way around that Impreza. I don't think he's gonna get the RX-7, so he might just take his sweet time and wait for the straight, honestly. Viper still leads. M3 right on his rear. R34 now holding off the NSX still. He's let one position go this lap. He doesn't want to let another one go. The NSX, however, doesn't want to stick behind him forever. He's made multiple attempts. And he's going to make another one. This time it looks like it's going to be successful. He's waited forever. And he's going to have to wait even longer. Wow. Wow, that R34 has absolutely not given an inch. And the Viper is going to maintain the lead entering the Dottingeroi Straight, where he has had the biggest advantage out of any of these cars. However, the M3 should be in slipstream range, and he gets an incredible run off the final corner before the straight. But is it going to be good enough? Because that Viper looks like it might still be pulling, even with the M3 in the slipstream. Or is he there? I don't know. It's awfully close. NSX finally gets around the R34, but now the R34 is coming back. As you can see, the 911 shaping up a move. He's done an incredible job making somewhat of a comeback, but I don't think this M3 has anything for the Viper on the long straight. Checkered flag is out, and the Dodge Viper wins. M3 CSL in second. The NSX is going to be third. R34 fourth. RX-7 claims fifth. 6th for the 911. 7th for the Corvette. 8th for the Impreza. And then there's the Evo. Will he get to the finish line before the time runs out? No. Not even close. Oh, poor Evo fans. That's 3 races, 3 P9s. He has scored 3 points. Well, unfortunately, the Evo FQ400 was a little too new. That was a 9th generation Evo, not an 8th, apparently. Maybe it was. I'm not sure. The 340 seemed like it would have been more competitive. I think the 400 would have been too fast, but clearly the 340 hasn't been doing all that well. But that is going to be a victory for Dodge. The Viper gets it done at the Nurburgring. I'm happy for that. I've always been a big fan of the second-gen Dodge Viper. I think the M3 CSL or the NSX potentially could have gotten him here. However, that R34 is the master of parking the bus. You know, it took a mistake, a simple mistake where he got loose and slid onto the grass for the M3 to even get around him. And the NSX had to wait for the straight to launch a move around, and then luckily he didn't get re-overtaken on that straight for his sake, and managed to pick up a final spot on the podium, which will be good considering he was 1 point behind the Viper going into this race. He is now 4 points behind the Viper. The Viper will take a 1 point lead in the championship as the M3 and Viper were both tied on about, I think, 15 points it was. Yeah, well, that was just an incredible race. I hope Chevrolet is able to do something about that Corvette, because it's just been too boaty or something. I don't know what it is, but I don't think they've really been able to get the full potential out of that car that they were hoping for. The Impreza is great as long as there aren't, you know, a crap load of long straights, and the Evo is just, it's in a league of its own at this point. It's hopeless. It is hopeless. Well, that's that. That was race 3 over and done with at the Nurburgring. Next time out, we will be heading to a track with maybe a little bit less of a bias on straights, as we'll be heading over to England to race at the Brands Hatch circuit. None of these cars are English. However, I thought Brands Hatch would be a fun track to see them race on, as it was, you know, puts less of a focus on the straight line speed. It's one of those tracks where I expect to see the Impreza hold on to the lead for quite a while. And then it'll be a true race where you have to throw it into the corners and try to make something stick. Well, either way, without further ado, that's going to be all, folks. I hope that you enjoyed watching that as much as I did, and I will see you guys next time.